This morning on Wave News Sunrise, a mother charged in the death of her two young sons. Neighbors in Bullitt County in disbelief. We're live this morning with the details of this devastating case. A former sheriff from southern Indiana on the other side of the law this morning as he's expected in court for more than 15 counts of various charges. What our Wave troubleshooters have been following for months. And panic at 3 Louisville schools after police responded to calls of an active aggressor. It all turned out to be a hoax, though. But now, the big question for families, is my child safe at school? We check in with JCPS's security promises.
This is Wave News Sunrise.
Good Thursday morning, 6 a.m. I'm Shannon Kogan alongside meteorologist Tawana Andrew. You can walk outside without a coat this morning, but you do want to grab it.
You have to grab it because later on today you might be shivering a little bit if you don't, because we are watching temperatures actually falling across the region right now. So what we're dealing with is a cold front that is currently moving through, and along with it we're also seeing some of the spotty showers pushing through portions of wave country. So now this front is now crossing over the Ohio River. We can tell because this is where we're seeing some pockets of heavier downpours stretching right along 71 from Carroll County into very southern Trimble County, so they'll be crossing over 71 and heading into portions of Henry County shortly. Also some more of these spotty showers near Oldham, Greenhaven, some more of that light rain near Frankfort, and in the metro mainly dry right now with some drizzle here and there. Some more of these light spotty showers and drizzle showing up in portions of Adair County this morning. So I've been talking about these temperatures falling, most of us in the 60s and low 70s, but now we're starting to see temperatures falling further through portions of southern Indiana. It's still 54 degrees right now in Paoli, but you've dropped to 67 in Cordon. You dropped to 66 in Salem as that colder air is gradually taking over. So over the next 12 hours, you're going to watch your temperatures falling. By the time you're around 9, 10 o'clock this morning, most of us should be in the 50s at that point. For those of you south of the parkways, you'll be in the low 60s. And now once we get towards the afternoon, we'll be much drier as the rain moves out along with that front. And with the help of some midday sunshine, we'll do our best to warm up, but only ending up in the low 60s for those afternoon temperatures. I mentioned some sunshine around. That's towards lunchtime that we see a little bit more of that sun, but the clouds return later on this afternoon and really start to take over again out ahead of our next system that will bring a bit more of that rain once we get into really the overnight and early tomorrow morning. So that's something we'll be watching closely for tomorrow morning's commute. But in terms of what we're dealing with for today, Kathleen, what are we seeing?
I'll get to current traffic conditions in just about 20 seconds. But first, a deadly crash that shut down the Waterson early this morning. It happened about 1 a.m. on 264 right here near Bardstown, and it shut down the interstate in both directions for a while. And this right here is why. LMPD says somebody was driving east alone in an SUV when they lost control and they hit the barrier of the ramp. Police say they aren't sure at this point why that driver veered off like that. The SUV immediately caught fire and was soon engulfed in flames. The driver died at the scene. That driver's name hasn't been released. Back here to current traffic conditions. So this is all cleared up, but we do have a crash right there on I-71 East in the area of the Waterson. Doesn't look like it's causing a lot of congestion at this point, but we will keep an eye on it. I-71 East, the area of I-264. We have a crash right there. Shannon?
Thanks, Kathleen. A heartbreaking story in Bullitt County. A mother arrested accused of killing her two young boys. 32-year-old Tiffany Lucas in jail this morning on 2 murder charges. Horrible. Wave News reporter Olivia Russell live in Bullitt County this morning, and she is set to appear in court this morning.
Shannon, those 2 boys were just 6 and 9 years old. They were rushed to Norton Children's Hospital, but died a short time later. The Bullitt County Sheriff's Office says a witness told them that Tiffany Lucas was the shooter. The 32-year-old was booked into jail just a few hours later on 2 counts of murder. An arrest slip says the victims were her sons. Their names haven't been released yet. It says the boys were found in a bedroom covered in blood, and a gun was found on the bed. It's still not clear exactly what led up to the shooting, a possible motive, or how many people may have witnessed it. Police still keeping details pretty tight there, but Tiffany Lucas is being held in the Bullitt County Jail without bond right now. She's scheduled to be in court today at 9 o'clock, and we'll keep you updated with those details. Reporting live in Bullitt County, Olivia Russell, Wave News.
Thank you, Olivia. The man who once led the Clark County Jail is now in a jail cell himself this morning, set to go before a judge today. Former Clark County Sheriff Jamie Knoll has been arrested on 15 criminal charges, including corrupt business influence, obstruction of justice, ghost employment, official misconduct, and theft. The Wave troubleshooters first raised questions about Knoll in March. Indiana State Police raided his home and New Chapel EMS buildings, where Knoll is CEO, in August. Current Sheriff Scotty Maple says during the investigation, he discovered Knoll had wiretapped parts of the sheriff's office. Maple says Knoll also used taxpayer money to pay Clark County Sheriff employees to work on Knoll's personal business. Investigators also say he tried to defraud Indiana's pension system. A special prosecutor is scheduled to give an update on the case this afternoon. Well, students will be back to school this morning after some terrifying moments Wednesday morning. Louisville Metro Police responded to a call of an active aggressor at Manual High School. Kids were terrified, hiding under their desks. Then another call came in about an active aggressor at Olmsted Academy North. Police ran to that location. No middle school also impacted because of how close it is to Manual, but they were not a target of these calls, which turned out just to be a hoax. The calls started coming in around 9 a.m. back to back. They were swatting calls, though. Fake calls about active aggressors were also called into schools across our region. A similar scene at Frederick Douglass High School in Lexington. Someone called 911 claiming to be barricaded inside a classroom, but that classroom number didn't even exist. Lexington police, though, put that school on lockdown. And then in Cincinnati, a similar situation there. At Colleran High School, district officials say the school went into lockdown. No threat was found. And in Evansville in southern Indiana, they also dealt with hoax calls, too. And in every district, parents and students were fearing the worst. After that incident, kids were allowed to leave to go home. Now, the topic of school safety back at the top of people's minds. Last May, the JCPS school board voted to install weapon detectors in the schools that needed them the most. JCPS has said since the beginning, those detectors would be installed during the fall. At the end of September, the district said the detectors would be in schools in October. But here we are. It is November 9th, and so far, only Ballard High School has them right now. The district says there will be staggered rollouts throughout the next several weeks, something some parents wish would come quicker.
The risks have not diminished any, and yet we're still here, and we really haven't got anything solved other than the fact that they voted on doing something.
The original plan had half the high schools getting those detectors this fall, and then the other half in the spring, and then all middle schools would be getting them in the fall of 2024. Nearly 700,000 people gave their approval to a second consecutive term for Governor Andy Beshear. That's just the third time in state history a governor has been able to do that. Now, Governor Beshear is asking lawmakers on the other side of the aisle to help him during his next 4 years in office. Beshear said his reelection is evidence voters want to change Kentucky's near total abortion ban. He calls on Republicans in the state legislature to allow exceptions for rape and incest victims.
I believe that the people of Kentucky have been very clear that they oppose what is the most restrictive law in the country, and in the very least they want to see exceptions. And our role as government, their role as a legislative body, is to do the will of the people.
The governor says during his next term, he will continue to push for pay raises for teachers and school staff. He also wants to create a universal pre-K system. So despite a governor's race with several controversial issues, Kentucky voter turnout in the general election, just 38%. Just 1.3 million Kentuckians voted in the general election, compared to more than 1.4 million in 2019. Political analysts say Republican turnout was also low. Beshear was able to dominate, too, in Democratic strongholds, including Fayette and Jefferson counties, which had significantly higher turnout than other parts of the state. In Jefferson County, more than 250,000 voters cast their ballot, and in Fayette County, over 100,000 voted. Governor Beshear also flipped several normally red areas, including southeast and western Kentucky. Some theories about that: ties to counties that faced natural disasters over the course of Beshear's first term and how he responded to them. It is 6:09. Here's Tawana taking us through the next 12 hours on this Thursday.
And over the next 12, we're going to be seeing temperatures actually falling this morning into the 50s, and we're only going to see low 60s for this afternoon. Many of us much warmer than that, though, at the moment. We're also watching some spotty showers across parts of wave country, but we're going to quickly dry out as we get into the late morning and then the afternoon. I'll let you know about how long the cooler air is going to stay with us and about some rounds of rain coming our way for tomorrow morning after the break.
Thanks, Tawana. Coming up, it's a great time to head to the rodeo. The North American Championship Rodeo is back in town starting tonight. And this morning, we are live there at Freedom Hall giving you a preview of all of that fun. It's coming up on Sunrise. Quick break. We'll be right back.
This is Wave News Sunrise.
As forest fires continue to burn throughout the region, crews have been working tirelessly to put out the flames. More than 11,000 acres have burned in Kentucky. The Kentucky Division of Forestry confirmed at least 17 of those fires started by a human, and dozens more are still unconfirmed. Some fires spread more than 1,000 acres, and with those flames so widespread, officials say everyone needs to remember the air quality can cause health problems. And remember, if you see any flames or smoke, report it before it gets out of hand. Fire officials say never assume someone else has already made that call. Also, the record warmth and dry conditions caused some problems for firefighters in Bullitt County yesterday. Perfect situation for a brush fire to start near Waddell Lane. Our photographer says some kind of barn or house was destroyed by it, but thank goodness no reports of any injuries. So are we technically, Tawana, still in that drought?
Yeah, some parts of wave country are still in that drought. We'll get the update to that drought monitor later on this morning, but the current one shows a moderate drought in some of our southern Indiana counties, from northern portions of Orange County over towards Jennings County, and also seeing some more of that moderate drought showing up from Washington County in Kentucky down towards Adair County. Everybody else is in that dry category. We're watching this cold front pushing through the area right now. This is helping a bit because it is bringing some more of those spotty showers back into our forecast. Now, keep in mind that as this front moves through, we're going to continue to watch for some more of this light to moderate rain, but some heavier downpours in very northern Henry County near Campbellsburg and over towards Pendleton. Now, a little bit of that light rain, some spotty showers in the LaGrange area, some more of that light rain showing up near Prospect and Linden as well. And for those of you near Springhurst, you're getting a little bit of that light rain falling for you right now. And also some more of those spotty showers near Centerview for those of you in southern Breckinridge County and north of Hanging Rock for those of you in Grayson County. We're looking into Shelby County right now in Simpsonville, where you can certainly see the ground is still a little bit damp from the rain that moved through that area earlier this morning. Your temperature is falling a little bit more in some spots. We're still mainly seeing those 60s and low 70s across the area right now, but the cooler air inching into southern Indiana. You're now down to 64 in North Vernon, but our cool spot is Paoli, sitting at 54 degrees at the moment. Across the metro, upper 60s and low 70s. So as you are heading out the door this morning, you may be just thinking, oh, it's nice and warm, I don't need to bring my jacket, but bring it with you, because we are going to see not just some more of those showers for the morning hours, but also our temperatures falling as this front continues to track further to the east. Our futurecast shows these spotty showers across portions of Kentucky as we head through the 7, 8 o'clock hour, and temperatures will be dropping down into the upper 50s for many of us at this point. So as we get closer to 10 a.m., we'll be cooling down with that front pushing further and further to the east, completely dry by lunchtime with temperatures hovering near that 60-degree mark at that point. Then eventually, with the help of some midday sunshine, we'll rebound into the low 60s for afternoon temperatures. So more of those clouds taking over for tonight, but we're going to stay dry. That is until after midnight. So keeping it cool across the area for this afternoon and into tomorrow as well, as we still have that same front that's moving through the day hovering to our south. We'll have a wave of energy riding along it tomorrow morning, and that is why we're going to kick back up the rain chances for Friday. We'll watch for these rounds of rain sticking around through your Friday morning. By lunchtime on Friday, we should be drier, even seeing some of that sunshine around for tomorrow afternoon with highs mainly in the upper 50s. Some of you could touch 60 60 degrees, though, if you get enough of that sunshine. Looking ahead to the weekend, Veterans Day, sunny, cool and comfortable, low to mid-50s for highs. Then upper 50s showing up on Sunday, and let's talk about the rest of your 10-day. Because as we get further into next week, it's going to be a gradual warming trend with high pressure dominating our forecast. By next Friday, upper 60s showing up, and by next Saturday, we could be talking about a little bit more of that rain coming back into the forecast. So we'll watch the roller coaster of temperatures, Shannon, over the next 10 days.
Wow. Okay. Thank you. Bull riding, roping, and barrel racing. You can catch it all starting tonight at the North American Championship Rodeo. Josh Ninke is live this morning at Freedom Hall to show us some of the things that you can see, and so far it's been very impressive.
I couldn't agree more, Shannon. Got more impressive stuff to show you here in just a second. Got Caitlin and her horse Mike joining us. So, Caitlin, you're saying this is your first time coming to this, right?
It is, correct.
Yeah, how do you feel about that?
A little nervous, you know. But I was allowed to come in a couple days earlier and get in the arena and work. I'm feeling a little bit more confident in my horses. Came in last night, felt great, and so we're ready for tonight.
Yeah, and what's your event? What do you do?
I barrel race.
Nice.
Yeah.
How'd you get into that?
We had a friend suggest going down to a saddle club when I was about 8 years old. Went down there, tried all the different classes, and we're like, we really like the speed events, and it kind of grew from there. Went through the 4-H levels and the amateurs, and got my toes wet in the pro rodeos, and just kind of went from there.
That's so cool. Yeah, so what's it like being able to travel the country and show off your amazing skills in these beautiful horses?
I think the travel and the friends is what gets it. You know, a lot of people don't get to go out and travel and see some of the sites that we get to. Like over the 4th of July, we got a big run, and we get to go hang out with some of the locals. I've met so many awesome people, different connections, and just being able to build your bond with your horse.
That's so cool. And speaking of the bond with your horse, I'm going to step out of the way and let you demonstrate a little bit of what you do. Let me hop out the way here. Impressive. So the next 3 nights, you're going to be competing each and every night, right?
Correct. Yep, we'll run Thursday, Friday, and Saturday night.
Fantastic. So that's everything starts at 7 o'clock, and tickets available at Ticketmaster. We'll have the link for you at wave3.com. Live here at Freedom Hall, Josh Ninke, Wave News. More Sunrise for you after the break.
6:23 right now. A new program that is hoping to end food waste is underway in Louisville, and they need volunteers. Kentucky Harvest Food Rescue Hero app connects restaurants and other food providers with volunteers who will take any extra food to food pantries and food banks. Kentucky Harvest says it really needs volunteers to sign up to help. To learn more, you can check out this story on wave3.com. All right, we had a record-breaking day yesterday. What about the next 10 days?
Well, we're just going to be all over the place. Honestly, I think that's the best way to put it. Yesterday, of course, we broke that record. We hit 83 degrees. Right now, we're watching temperatures gradually falling across the area. By the afternoon, only talking about low 60s with a little bit of sunshine initially before some more clouds roll in. And then we'll have to deal with a bit more of that rain tomorrow morning for mainly Kentucky. Then we head into the Veterans Day weekend. Cool, comfortable 50s for your highs. Then we're just going to gradually warm up as we head through next week, eventually ending up in the upper 60s by the time we reach next weekend, and we wait another chance of rain. So we'll get a mixture of everything for those of you who like the cooler temperatures and those of you who like more of the warmth as well over the next 10 days. Shannon.
Thanks, Tawana. Some intense moments on the debate stage Wednesday night. Republican presidential hopefuls made a push to try to catch up with current frontrunner Donald Trump in the polls. Chris Christie, Ron DeSantis, Nikki Haley, Vivek Ramaswamy, and Tim Scott all making their case as to why they deserve to represent the Republican Party in next year's general election. Candidates were asked about their views on Israel, Ukraine, the economy, and why they would make a better choice than the former president.
I'm sick of Republicans losing. In Florida, I showed how it's done. 1 year ago here, we want a historic victory, including a massive landslide right here in Miami-Dade County.
I can tell you that I think he was the right president at the right time. I don't think he's the right president now. I think that he put us $8 trillion in debt, and our kids are never going to forgive us for that.
Former President Trump was not there. He has not participated in any of the Republican debates. So where was he last night? Well, pretty close by, hosting his own campaign rally in South Florida. The House Oversight Committee is expected to subpoena President Biden's son and brother, Hunter and James Biden, as part of the investigation into the Biden family's foreign business dealings. It is looking at whether the president committed an impeachable offense. The committee is also expected to request voluntary interviews with about 25 other people. And new on Sunrise at 6:25, Hunter Biden is suing a Trump-supporting businessman for defamation. That suit comes on the same day the president's son and the president's brother will be subpoenaed. Kathleen Ninke has the latest right now in this Wave News Alert.
Hunter Biden has filed a defamation suit against the former CEO of Overstock.com named Patrick Byrne. He's a staunch Trump ally. Hunter Biden's suit says Byrne published false statements about him in June. Those statements claim the president's son reached out to the Iranian government offering to have his father unfreeze $8 billion in funds as a bribe. Then the lawsuit says Byrne reposted those same false claims right after the Hamas attack on Israel, suggesting Hunter Biden's actions helped fund that horrific attack. The lawsuit says the statements are not only false, but also outrageous and malicious. Shannon.
Thank you, Kathleen. An alleged domestic dispute leads police to a woman badly injured. Now it is a homicide investigation as police try to piece together what happened and find the person responsible. A heartbreaking discovery in Bullitt County. Two young boys, just 6 and 9, found shot to death, and now their mother behind bars this morning. More on this case that's rocked that community.
This is Wave News Sunrise.
Good Thursday morning. It is 6:30. Thanks for waking up with us here. I'm Shannon Kogan with meteorologist Tawana Andrew. We have Kathleen over there on the side.
She's working in the background.
Getting the traffic together. So I hope you enjoyed yesterday. I went out for a walk, wore shorts and a T-shirt. Just amazing.
And today you're going to be wearing, what, a jacket, some boots, more of that situation?
Is it seriously that cold? Boots?
I'm saying low 50s by mid-morning for a lot of people.
Yeah,
so we are really going to be dropping. So you plan your outfits accordingly. Definitely not T-shirts this morning, y'all. For those of you heading out, we are watching the front. That is slowly but surely making its way through wave country. We were seeing some more showers earlier, but now those showers are basically confined to areas further to the northeast of Louisville. So we have it just clipping just south of the Crestwood area, and then we're also seeing some more of those showers from Smithfield to Newcastle, where there's a slightly heavier downpour there, and off into the very northeastern portions of Henry County. Our temperatures continue to drop. You're now down to 63 in Salem. You're sitting at 57 now in North Brennan, 54 still into Paoli. Everybody else? 60s and low 70s. But remember, we're just going to continue to watch those temperatures fall this morning. By the time we reach around 9, 10 o'clock, most of us should be into the 50s at that point. And it's going to be a slow and steady warm up for the afternoon, only ending up in the low 60s later on today. And that is it. Remember, our highs were earlier this morning at midnight when we were sitting in the 70s in most spots. So just going to be hovering in the 60s, low 60s for this afternoon. So while some of you may need the umbrella for this morning, it's the jacket that you're going to need with you for most of the day. You'll get to use the sunglasses for most of the midday time period before more clouds return later on this afternoon. And don't worry, you can track everything going on in the Wave weather app. And there's quite a bit happening on the roads right now. So Kathleen, what are we seeing?
Yeah, we got a couple of crashes that we're tracking right now. Here on I-71, what we have is a crash right there with 264, and we've got a view of it right there. So you see it's got the left lane blocked at this point. So that's I-71 going northbound, and that's what we have there. And then on 65 northbound, the right lane blocked right there, kind of north of the Watterson right there. So those are the two crashes that we are tracking that might mess with you right now.
All right, thanks, Kathleen. Two young boys shot dead yesterday in Bullitt County, and now their mother is charged with 2 counts of murder for their deaths. Wave News reporter Olivia Russell live in Bullitt County this morning, and she will appear in court this morning.
Yeah, Shannon, and this community really heartbroken right now, trying to figure out exactly why two young brothers, 6 and 9 years old, were shot and killed. And on top of that, their mother is one who's accused of pulling the trigger. 32-year-old Tiffany Lucas is in the Bullitt County Jail this morning facing 2 counts of murder. The 911 call came in around 11 o'clock yesterday morning to a home on Bentwood Drive. That's where they found the boys inside a bedroom. They were both rushed to Norton Children's Hospital but died a short time later. Neighbors still have a lot of questions, and the big one is why. They say it's normally a really quiet area, so it's shocking to them to hear such tragic news, especially so close to home.
I heard all the sirens, and I turned my scanner on, and I didn't know they were down the street, and they said on the scanner that 2 people were shot, and then they said Bentwood Drive, and I said, crap, that's on my street.
Bond hasn't been set for Lucas yet. She's scheduled to be arraigned at 9 o'clock this morning, and we'll be in that courtroom and keep you updated with any new details that might come out. Live in Bullitt County, Olivia Russell, Wave News.
Thanks, Olivia. 6:34 now, and a woman is dead after an alleged domestic dispute at an apartment complex in Okolona last night. It happened at Jefferson Green Apartments, right across the street from the post office on Macaulay Road. Police say they were called to that area for a shooting just after 7. And they later found a woman with several blunt force trauma injuries. LMPD has not said how the woman was killed, and her name has not been released, but police have not made any arrests. The man accused of trying to interfere with voting at polling locations has had his bond reduced from $15,000 to $500. 40-year-old Jason Cockrell was arrested Tuesday. Officers were called to Molly Leonard Portland Community Center for a disruptive person. An arrest report says Cockrell was waving around a flag attached to a fishing pole and made threatening gestures toward voters and was saying racial slurs. He also damaged a voting machine. He is charged with 2 counts of menacing, 1 count of destruction of a voting machine, and election interference. He will be back in court next week. A Louisville McDonald's is honoring a traffic guard who did that job for 48 years, and her life has now been forever changed after she was the victim of a hit and run. Gertrude Shaflin was working near Wellington Elementary School when a semi-truck driver hit her. He was later arrested, but her injuries were so bad her leg was amputated. The McDonald's on Dixie Highway today in Valley Station is supporting her recovery. From 7 a.m. to 7 p.m., 50% of all of their digital sales will go to Shaflin. You have to download the McDonald's app, place an order at that location on Dixie, and then pay through the app. You can also drop off donations to go to the Louisville Metro Police Foundation, which is helping Shaflin. The Education First Foundation teaching students about historically black colleges and universities today with a school showcase. This is at the Kentucky International Convention Center. Students can talk to representatives from HBCUs about registration, classes, as well as student life. New on Sunrise this morning, the U.S. Census has put out some new projections today. One says that in a few decades, more than a quarter of the American population will be Latino. Kathleen Ninke has more in this Wave News Alert this morning.
Right now, the U.S. Latino population is about 19% of the country. The census's projections released at midnight say by 2060, Hispanic people will make up almost 27% of the population. Meanwhile, the non-Hispanic white population is projected to continue to decline from about 59% right now to about 45% in 2060. Another interesting note from the census this morning, the American population just in general is projected to continue to grow as expected, but only until 2080. After that, our population here is expected to decline. The census data scientists say that's based on patterns of births, deaths, and people just moving away from the U.S. Tawana?
Definitely interesting. Over the next 12 hours, what we're going to be seeing, some more of the cooler air taking over. By the time we reach the mid-morning, most of us will be in the 50s at that point. So cooling off considerably. And despite some sunshine around midday, not warming up very much. Only seeing those afternoon temperatures in the low 60s in most spots. So let you know when we can start to see some even warmer weather trying to show back up in the forecast after the break.
Good morning. It is 6:40, and you know what? The rodeo is in town starting tonight. Some super impressive acts. Josh Ninke is there live this morning, so this is all taking place at Freedom Hall.
This should be a lot of fun. And these are the best of the best for this circuit, so you don't want to miss out on this. I've got Caitlin joining us yet again, who's one of the barrel racers. So first off, I want to ask, what does it take to be a barrel racer? Because good grief, you guys are going fast.
You got to have a lot of guts. You got to have no fear, because you're going to come in as fast as you can, come into the arena everywhere you go.
Yeah, and you've got some specific things on your horse right here that's kind of fun, some little behind-the-scenes stuff. Some multicolored rubber bands right here. What are these for?
I band my feet into my stirrups. That way, if I have to do any silly tricks going around the barrels, my feet stay in them. And so I can kind of do all my cues going up into the next barrel.
Nice. And there's this rope that's kind of hanging out right here. What's this for?
This is my over and under. This is my little love tap. It gets weaved through my belt, and then coming home, I'll just kind of give Rocket a big pop on the butt and like, gotta keep going, buddy.
What's one of your favorite parts about doing this kind of event?
I think it's just making all my memories with my horses. You really get to know them going up and down the road. You're spending, 24 hours with them every day. I get to spend a lot of time with Rocket. He'll lay down, just like the little silly moments of just hauling personalities.
Yeah. Can I hop up on Mike right here? Full disclosure here. I haven't been on a horse probably since I was maybe 5 years old, so I might need you to walk me through.
That's all right. You got it.
All right. So just put my foot up right here.
Yep.
Okay.
And swing on over.
Okay. Finding the other stirrup over here. So when you say banding your feet in, what exactly does that look like?
Yeah. So I will take my toe and I do a cross, and then I'll hook it on my spur or the back of my boot, just
so
like that.
That really just helps you stay in?
Yep, and they'll break if I need them to break.
Okay, fantastic. So you get started tonight. You're going to be going 3 nights in a row. How tough is that to do that back to back to back?
It's hard, especially coming into an indoor. We got these black walls. A lot of horses will want to get short.
Yeah.
So it's just making sure that we can ride our horses up into our turn, making sure, in these kind of pens, I'd rather go a little deep than too short.
Yeah. Fantastic. So a lot of great stuff that you can catch starting tonight, starting at 7 o'clock. Tickets available at Ticketmaster. We're going to have that link for you at wave3.com. So live here at Freedom Hall, Josh Dinky, Wave News.
You got to do more than that on Mike, Josh. Let's see.
How about it?
Let's see. All right, here we go.
There you go. Well done.
How's that for you,
Shannon? A little turn. Okay. Thank you. Very good. All right, the 8-1 U of L football team, number 11 in the AP poll with the ACC title game in sight. So they are playing tonight. The Cards will take on 2-7 Virginia at L&N Stadium at 5-1 in conference play. The Cards are in second place behind undefeated Florida State. A win tonight and a North Carolina loss to Duke Saturday would clinch it for U of L. Head coach Jeff Brom says his team just needs to worry about what they can control. Kickoff for the game, 7:30, and it will be on ESPN. You can check it out right there. By the way, tonight is the Glow uniforms, and they're going to be giving out or selling some Glow items and even Glow concession cups too.
Ooh,
so
we're getting a little fancy with it.
If you have something that glows in the dark, wear it.
Wear it. So that'll be fun. So I expect to see highlighter yellow and orange, everything everywhere.
Very
for those of you heading to that. And by the way, the weather for that is looking pretty good as well. We'll talk about that. Plus the cooler air moving in right now in just 30 seconds. Good morning, everyone. Meteorologist Juana Andrew here with a check of your forecast. We were just talking about the U of L game later on tonight. And hey, we're going to be dealing with some pretty comfortable weather. You will need those hoodies, though, as you will be falling through the 50s for that matchup against Virginia. I know a lot of Cards fans will be cheering them on today. Now, in terms of your what to wear forecast, going to need that jacket, because while we are sitting in the upper 60s and low 70s right now, we are going to fall down temperature-wise as the morning goes along, only rebounding into the low 60s for this afternoon, but we will get a bit of sunshine at times for today. The reason that we have the cooler weather coming our way, this cold front that is currently making its way through wave country, and we did see a few more showers around earlier this morning, but the only showers that we're seeing right now in our region are towards really to the northeast of Eminence and also near Raymond Hill, north of Shelbyville. That's where we're getting a little bit more of a more robust downpour across that area. Speaking of Shelby County, we're looking into Simpsonville, where the ground is still a bit damp from those showers that moved through earlier today. Our temperatures are dropping down pretty quickly across southern Indiana. You're now down to 54 in Seymour, 52 now for your temperature in Paoli, 63 for the current temperature in Salem. But you look further to the east and south, we're still talking upper 60s and low 70s in those spots because the cold front hasn't quite moved through those locations just yet. Going to keep an eye on some more of those spotty showers through the 7 a.m. time frame, but once we get closer to 9, 10 o'clock, this is going to be the point where most of us will be sitting in those 50s, and we'll be watching the clouds clearing and taking all that rain further to the east. We'll keep some of that sunshine through lunch into the early afternoon as temperatures do their best to rebound, only ending up, though, in the low 60s for later on today. So that is why I'm saying you need that jacket or the sweater. Make sure you have that with you, even though it's warmer for many of us right now. We'll keep those clouds rolling in for tonight, but the rain arrives late tonight into early tomorrow morning. So as we get closer to midnight and beyond, that is when we'll have to deal with another batch of these showers pushing through. And we do need the rain, as many of us are either dry or in a moderate drought right now. We'll watch these showers pushing through across the area for your Friday morning, with the best opportunity for that rain for those of you along and south of the Ohio River, really. And keep in mind, this could impact and slow down your Friday morning commute. By Friday afternoon, dry. You're going to even see plenty of sunshine as temperatures try to rebound into the upper 50s. A couple of spots could touch 60 degrees, but most of us will be just in the 50s for tomorrow. And then we'll keep some more of these upper level clouds rolling back in Friday night into your Saturday. So how much rain are we going to see with this system? Not much. Really around 1/10 of an inch to 1/4 of an inch in most spots. Some of you get slightly higher than that, especially south of the parkways, but that's really it with the system. Your Veterans Day weekend looking pretty comfortable. 50s across the area, quite a bit of sunshine for both Saturday and Sunday, so keep that in mind if you're attending any Veterans Day events, especially on Saturday. Getting further through next week, here's what your 10-day has to show. We'll be slowly but surely warming up as the week goes along. By next Friday, that is when we'll be watching another system pushing our way. We'll see temperatures warming into the upper 60s out ahead of it, and then we'll see some rain trying to show up by the following weekend. So a lot to watch over the next 10 days, but mainly this morning we're keeping an eye on those showers and, of course, those falling temperatures.
All right, Tawana, thank you. Today, the trial of Brett Hankison will wrap up for the week. Yesterday, the jury was taken to Breonna Taylor's apartment to get an idea of Hankison's perspective the night Taylor was shot and killed during that police raid. The judge did not allow the jury to go inside the apartment. Former LMPD SWAT Commander Dale Massey testified he was in complete and utter shock and disbelief after learning an officer shot through an apartment window that night. Prosecutors say Hankison violated the civil rights of Taylor, her boyfriend Kenneth Walker, and 3 people in the neighboring apartment. If convicted, he faces up to life in prison. Philanthropist Mackenzie Scott is giving $4.8 million to the Park Duval Community Health Center. The Community Health Center announced that gift comes from Yield Giving. It's a fund established by Scott. The donation will support the growth of Park Duval's operations, including the dental department and an expansion of behavioral health. Proceeds will also go toward a farmers market project to bring more food to Louisville's West End. The Park Duval Community Health Center has 7 centers across 5 communities in 2 JCPS schools. Here's Kathleen right now for a look at the big stories we're following from around the country and the world.
Today, Senate Democrats will consider authorizing subpoenas as they investigate ethics concerns into the Supreme Court. So the Judiciary Oversight Committee will be voting on whether to subpoena 2 conservative donors and benefactors about their relationships with and large gifts to Supreme Court justices. And today, on the other coast, it is the first day in months that thousands of Hollywood actors aren't on strike. The SAG-AFTRA strike was officially suspended at midnight as that tentative deal has been struck. It's not clear that any big projects will start production today, though. The National Board has to approve the deal tomorrow. Shannon will have a look at the top local stories our WAVE team is following today in the Wake Up Watch List right after the break.
A heartbreaking story in Bullitt County this morning. A mother arrested, accused of killing her 2 young sons. WAVE News reporter Olivia Russell live in Bullitt County this morning with details. Olivia?
Those 2 boys were just 6 and 9 years old, Shannon. They were both rushed to Norton Children's Hospital yesterday, but they died shortly after that. The Bullitt County Sheriff's Office says a witness told them Tiffany Lucas was the shooter. The 32-year-old was booked into jail just a few hours later on 2 counts of murder. An arrest slip says the victims were her sons. Their names haven't been released yet. It says the boys were found in a bedroom covered in blood, and a gun was found on the bed. It's still not clear exactly what led up to that shooting, the possible motive, or how many people people witnessed it, but Lucas is being held in the Bullitt County Jail right now with no bond set yet. She's scheduled to be in court at 9 o'clock today. We'll be in there and keep you updated with any details that come out. Live in Bullitt County, Olivia Russell, Wave News.
Former Clark County Sheriff Jamie Knoll set to go before a judge today as well. He's accused of wiretapping parts of the sheriff's office using taxpayer dollars to pay Clark County Sheriff employees to work on his personal business and trying to defraud Indiana's pension system. A special prosecutor is scheduled to give an update on the case this afternoon. And JCPS students returning to school this morning after police swarmed 3 campuses yesterday. Manual and Olmsted Academy North got swatting calls, while No Middle was also placed on heightened security because of how close it is to Manuel, but they were not a target of these fake calls. These calls about active aggressors were also called into school districts in Lexington, Evansville, and Cincinnati. Students were allowed to leave school early after that terrifying moment. And tonight, the number 11 ranked Cards taking on 2-7 Virginia at L&N Stadium. Kickoff set for 7:30. And if you don't have tickets, you can watch the game on ESPN. And here is Tawana. If you're heading out there, if you have something that glows, wear it.
And if it's a glowing hoodie, even better. We're watching the front moving through right now with a bit of rain showing up for those of you in Shelby County and very southern Henry County. This will continue to push to the south, but still clouds overhead for most of us. The temperature is also falling down. A lot of us across Kentucky still in those upper 60s, low 70s, but seeing some 50s already showing up in Indiana over the next 12 hours, falling further into the 50s by the mid-morning hours, rebounding into the low 60s for this afternoon. Your 10-day shows some more rain showing up on Friday, and we'll have to keep an eye on some beautiful weather as we head into your Veterans Day weekend.
Keeping an eye on the traffic situation, we got a bad one here on 65 northbound right by the airport, kind of by the fairgrounds. Think exit 131A, just north of the Watterson. So this is a crash on 65 northbound. The right lane is blocked, the right shoulder is blocked, and it is causing a backup. Look at all those lights right there that are just stuck in that location. So that certainly is going to affect our drive times here on 65 northbound. Watterson to the junction, you're looking at 8 minutes right now. Quite a bit of a slowdown, 7 minutes. Snyder to the Watterson on 65 northbound. Coming into Louisville from Indiana, you're looking just fine. And 265 eastbound and northbound looking fine too.
Well, that is good, but boy, yeah, that is a mess. So you're going to update us throughout the morning on the Today Show?
Absolutely.
Hopefully it'll improve. Yeah. All right, thanks so much for joining us. The Today Show is up next. Have a good Thursday.
Get live streaming news, 24-hour weather, investigation.